When is a male leopard gecko ready to breed? This little boy still needs a name, but he is going to help us figure out that very answer in today's video. Selling in the billions each year, Rainbow Mealworms is your one-stop shop for all your insect needs. Their quality feeders and A+ customer service keep me coming back to support the health and growth of all of our animals. Visit them today at rainbowmealworms.net to place your order. Okay, so this is a Lemon Frost Turkmenicus cross. It's in the Frosty Turk project and it is generation 3. Now, one of the really cool things with the Turkmenicus gecko is it tends to have larger genetics. So when this boy was 6 months old, he was just about this big, maybe slightly smaller, but he was already a pretty big gecko. And you could see this is a skinny gecko. They tend to be longer and lankier, but they are big. They are longer geckos, 9, 10, 11 inches sometimes. So it's pretty cool. You can see it has one of those suspicious spots that we're keeping an eye on in our Frosty Turk project. We will do a future video on that. But the spot has not started to bubble over yet. It's still flat, it still wrinkles with the skin. And so I still think there's a lot more observation and research to be done there. But the Frosty Turks have the most beautiful eyes in the world. It is crazy. It's like looking into the eyes of Mordor. Now, the reason I brought this boy out is because I was very excited to start the research on this specific project where we are trying to outcross the Lemon Frost leopard gecko and all the negative associations with that morph. So this boy came to me as a 3rd generation, meaning that he's 87% Turkmenicus already. And we needed to breed him into other Turkmenicus girls so that we could continue on those generations. Now, he was very young when I got him, and by the time that our Turkmenicus girls were ready to breed and ovulating, he was still only about 5.5, 6 months old. Because males are not the ones carrying the weight of the eggs, they don't really need to be as old or as big as females. Now, some males just are not great breeders, and you will have to find out which males those are. Other males are fantastic breeders. And so if you want to start breeding your male at 6 months old, that's perfectly fine. I've never tried a male younger than 6 months old. However, my cousin had a male that was, I think, a little bit younger than 6 months old in retrospect. That male did get the female that the male was living with pregnant or gravid in that same tank when that male might have only been 4 or 5 months old. So it's definitely possible for male geckos to breed younger than 6 months. But I want to say 6 months is a good kind of standard of what to expect. Now, all of this is under the assumption that you're feeding your gecko well and it's up to size. Well, what is up to size for a male leopard gecko? I would say between 40 to 50 grams will be up to size for a male leopard gecko. Obviously, the bigger is better, especially if the girls are bigger, because sometimes the girls can fight back and wind up hurting the male if the male is a lot smaller than the girl, and vice versa. The males can hurt the females if the females are a lot smaller than the male. If you watched our last video, which I'll leave a link to here in the top right corner, we basically recommended not to breed a female smaller than 50 grams. Leopard geckos don't get that big. On average, a male is going to be 50 to 70, maybe 80 grams. So if you're breeding your girls at 50 grams, no problem. Any male will do pretty much. You do have to be a little bit more cautious with the supergiant males, especially if they're going into the hundreds of grams, but most people don't work with supergiants, so that's not a huge concern, but just be aware of that if you do work with supergiants. But most 50-gram girls can take a male of any size. Now, a couple things that I've noticed. If the female is much larger than the male, sometimes the male has difficulty getting into breeding position and therefore making fertile eggs. And also vice versa. If the male is much bigger than the female, sometimes he has difficulty getting into breeding position. So it's always best to try to find two animals that are somewhat close in size. Like, I want to say maybe like 20 grams within each other. This guy is long and lanky and probably only like 70 grams, and he might have a female that's short and stubby and 50 grams, and he might have trouble breeding her. So if the male has trouble breeding with the female, keep trying, and if you just can't get fertile eggs, unfortunately you'll have to try a different male. Now, this is Toothless, our Black Knight male breeder. We had a bunch of girls that we took into last year, and I always felt like he wasn't getting the job done, but he absolutely got the job done. I would call call my cousin and be like, yeah, our male is like pre-ejaculating here. Like I would watch him breed in the tub and he would never fully lock with the female. He was always struggling to get in position, but I would always see sperm coming out of his vent. So sperm was coming out, but he would never get in the right position. And I was thinking that he would not get any girls pregnant. However, he got almost every single girl pregnant. So I don't know if a perfect lock is exactly something that's needed, because this guy is not the greatest at perfect locks, but he gets the job done. Then you have other males that just don't seem to be getting the job done. This is Zeus. He is such a beautiful white and yellow gecko. He's in shed right now, so that's why he has a gray look, but he has like a super green head, really bright, hypo-melanistic, bright yellow back. And so I was really excited to breed him to like a ton of girls, but guess what? Year one, he only chose to breed one girl. And that was even a struggle. I tried to pair him with the girl. She was all ready. Sometimes the girl will be chasing the male around the cage trying to get him to breed with her, and the male won't breed. It was very difficult to get him to breed year one. The first female, he wouldn't breed her. The female was chasing him around the cage. Second female, he wouldn't breed her. The female was chasing him around the cage. I tried a couple weeks later with both of those females, and he finally did lock with one of the girls, but would not lock with the other girl. So fast forward to year two, I tried the same thing with him. I tried to breed him to like 5 different girls, and he would not breed with any of them. Then I tried the 6th girl, and he chose to breed with the 6th girl, but then he would not breed with any other girl after that, nor would he rebreed with that one girl. So I like to call him a 1 time a year breeder. I joke with my cousin about it. I'm like, we only get 1 breeding out of this guy a year. I don't know who it's gonna be. I can't even select the female. He seems to select the female that it's gonna be. He's just so confident in his own genetics. He's like, yeah, I'm a stud. I'm only gonna pass it on to whatever girl is worthy of my affection this year. Anyway, he's great. Other than that, sweetest, beautiful, just chunky little male right here. I love this dude. He's a good breeder when he decides to breed, but he will only breed 1 girl a year. So a lot of weird things can happen like this with leopard geckos. But in general, about 80% of your geckos are gonna eat and breed and continue on with their breeding season no problem, with no hiccups and no issues. For that 20% that does give you issues, it's good to know what issues can arise. So we talked about 3 different topics in this video. Topic number 1, we want males to be around 6 months old. It's been proven that they could breed a little bit younger, but 6 months is a good standard, and somewhere between 40 to 50 grams, bigger is better, unless you have a really small female. Then we talked about our black knight male that did not seem to be making great locks. Like I seriously paired him to like 20 girls, and I thought none of them would be successful, but they all turned out to be successful. So we actually have a lot of babies from him. So that was a lesson learned to me, that just because the gecko doesn't look like it locks good, or maybe that like his hemipene goes into the female, he still has a way to like drizzle his sperm on her vent, is what I'm guessing, and she can still receive that sperm. Also, what males will do is they will rub their sperm on the bottom of the tub. And so maybe, just maybe, if the female rubs her bottom right after that, maybe the sperm can get into her vent. I don't know. At this point, when I was breeding that male, I couldn't sit there and watch for an hour every single time when he was trying to breed these girls. I literally would sit there for like 20 minutes for some of these sessions and just watch him trying and trying and trying. Because I really like to see a lock if I can. Then I know for sure, okay, this male locked with this girl. And then we have Zeus over here, gecko of the gods, so to speak. He just chooses to breed 1 girl a year when he wants, whatever girl he wants, and he does not leave the decision making up to you. So what'd you think about this video, guys? Was it a pretty cool video about males and some of the experiences that you'll go through with males? Let me know any unique experiences that you've gone through with your males, because I'm always learning from you guys as well. I'm only one person with one perspective and one experience, but you guys are many people with many experiences and many perspectives that I can gain knowledge from as well, and I'm always about that. So thank you guys so much. I love you. I'll see you in the next video, and remember, till next time, have a geeky gecko great day. Peace.